Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you guys are having a good day and you guys are ready here for another day where we're talking about investing, okay? I made a video before where I told you guys a little bit about how to get started, and today in this video, as you can see from the title, I'm going to tell you guys 10 stocks that you should be looking out for, okay? Because the market's been a little crazy lately and I see that a lot of companies are having fast growth. So I just wanted to share this with you guys and hopefully that will help you. Now, if it's your first time here, welcome. And if it's your second time here, you need to make sure you subscribe, okay? That button right there, make sure you don't leave today without pressing it. So I made a video before where you got to talk a little bit about how to invest and how to get started. And it was long, my bad y'all, it was long and I didn't even realize it was going to be long. But you know, there are just so many things that you guys have to watch out for when you're first starting to invest in the stock market. So if you did not watch that video, I'm going to link it above here. Watch the video. You will see all the tips on how to get started, which apps I use. I use Robinhood. You'll get to learn a little bit more about what is the stock market and why would you even want to invest in that. In today's video though, I'm going to be telling you about 10 stocks that you should definitely have in your portfolio right now. So I'm gonna be giving y'all some gems, okay? Gems on gems on gems, which means if you're coming to my channel to get some gems and you're not hitting the subscribe button and you're not hitting the like button, what you doing? This is the way I was thinking about going into it, right? Because of this crisis right now, you know what's going on in the world. If I have, let's say $100 and I can only invest in, let's say 2 companies, one of the companies I would invest in for sure would have to be a company in the healthcare industry. Obviously, guys, there is a global crisis going on out there and you have to think about what that means. It's all about money, and companies are literally trying to be the first companies right now that has their hands on this vaccine. So of course, everyone in the healthcare industry, especially the big companies that make vaccines, all they're trying to do right now is be the first person who creates this vaccine so that they can charge people whatever they want on it, right? So right now there are 3 companies that are making the biggest move right now in the stock market when it comes to this vaccine. The first company is Moderna, the second one is Inovio, and the third one is Gilead Sciences. Anyway, so Moderna is the first one. I have my laptop here for some handy dandy notes. So I bought them when they were worth $30, which was maybe last month. And right now they are currently worth $57. Now, let's get into specifics. Last week, Moderna released that they actually had great results just from this preclinical trial that they have done. So they were the first company, one of the first companies actually that ever actually went to trial. So companies, yeah, you can say you created this vaccine, right? But you won't actually know it works until you actually go to trial. So they were one of the first companies that actually had a trial that was successful. So because of that, last week, their stock spiked up. It went high, so much higher than it was worth. So it actually went from being worth $30-something to $80. This was just last week. And then guess what happened? Obviously, it's the stock market, then it went back down. So a lot of people started criticizing the company just because they felt like they were giving false hope, being basically just too trigger happy. Like, don't just go and broadcast to the world that you have this vaccine and that is like, yeah, you're making moves, you're winning, you're in first place, when you only had a small sample size. So that means if I have this vaccine and I want to say, hey, I'm actually ahead and I'm winning this race, you actually would have to try it on a bunch of people, right? And then if you see those positive results on everyone, then you can say that. Moderna actually only had a small sample size, but it still worked. So a lot of people were like, not really, no. So it went back down, but still, it is still worth $57 right now, and they're still going. So right now they are in phase 1. So they have left the preclinical trials. They actually are in phase 1 right now and they are still working. That company has already went up 146% in just this past year, and they are expected to be done by early 2021. So by the end of this year and the beginning of next year, they feel like they're good, and they actually are backed by a lot of politicians. Even Anthony Fauci just the other day said that, he's optimistic about this, and, he be with Trump and them. So it's like, if you and Trump and them and you're saying that you're optimistic about this vaccine, I'm optimistic too, So it's like, whatever. I mean, obviously, like, it won't really hurt to invest in a company right now that's, you know, in the healthcare industry. And there are other ones too. You just have to look into whichever one you want to invest in. There's also the other company that is called Inovio that I also own. It was really cheap, so I was like, why not? It's only $14 and I just bought 2 shares, but you can also just get one. I mean, I'm just trying to get my foot at the door, okay? Whichever company gets it first, I don't care, as long as one of y'all get it. You know, that's where I'm at. So I just went ahead and bought 2 shares of Inovio. It says that Inovio actually is in their phase 1 clinical trial. So basically all the companies that I'm telling you about are going to be companies that have made some progress in their search of this vaccine, okay? So Inovio has made some progress, but they still aren't solidified yet. They're just holding on until they can, you know, for sure say, hey, we have had some great positive results. This is what's going to happen. But they're still doing better than the other companies that are just trying to even figure something out, you know? And the last company I mentioned was Gilead Sciences. Now that company is just the OG. They're super old. They've been around. They've established themselves as the, you know, drug making company in the country. They're right now, I think they are worth $73. Yes, so they've been around. Like PrEP, they came up with that. They came up with a vaccine for hepatitis C. So they've been around, and people are tempted to trust them just because, you know, they've been around, they know what they're doing. But there are also these companies that are smaller, and they're coming in really strong. Like Moderna is just coming in and they're trying, and they're actually ahead right now. Listen, I don't care who owns the pie. I just want a piece of the pie, okay? So it doesn't matter to me who's gonna come with this vaccine as long as I own a stock of it. Okay, so now we are at number 4. The next company I would say to look into definitely is going to be an airline company, okay? So travel has been changed for everybody. We already know that people are scared to travel. Even people who can travel just don't want to. So airline companies have been losing so much money. There's talks of American Airlines going bankrupt. Companies are being bailed out because they just cannot afford to keep flying daily anymore because the planes are not full, so they're losing money every single day, millions of dollars. So obviously their planes, you know, like they weren't running, and airlines company took a really big hit. So all of them are down right now, and they're starting to slightly go back up. But here's the gem though. Delta is the company that's actually in better shape compared to all of the rest of the airlines. They are in better shape for multiple reasons. If you want, you can go check the numbers if that's your thing. But from my understanding of it, they owe less money to the world compared to something like American Airlines that just owes everybody money. So they're in a better shape financially. They have a better dividends yield, so they actually can provide you a profit off of that. And also, they're just set to bounce back. Southwest Airlines is one that's actually in close second, but still Delta is the one that you should go with. Listen, I can't tell you what to do, but Delta though is definitely ahead of the pack. So if you're looking to have an airline stock in your pocket, in your portfolio, definitely add that. All right, so the next one isn't necessarily a must, but it's just something that I'm using just to take advantage of this current situation. So I'm going to say that the next one that I have in my portfolio is Disney. Listen, not everybody needs to get Disney. Disney's a little hefty, all right? When I bought it, it was worth $106, and now it's worth $120 something. It went up just this week, but this is still outside. Outside is still not open yet, and the parks are still closed. So it is said that all of the parks are going to be reopening soon. I know that they are thinking about reopening in China, in Japan. So they are going to be reopening soon, and you could definitely make some money when they open, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. It's one of those things where you just know Disney is going to be Disney. It's pretty safe. Nothing too dramatic is going to happen. People are always going to want to go to those parks. And you buy it now and you just save it for long term. All right, before we move on to number 6, I'm gonna ask that you stop for a second and like this video if you are enjoying it. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe and sign up for notifications so that you will be notified every single time I drop a new video. I will really appreciate it, guys. It would really be helpful because YouTube is trifling. YouTube will try us smaller channels, okay? It will definitely help the algorithm. So please, if you are enjoying this, make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel. Now, on to the next gem. Okay, boom. So you took my advice, you invested in healthcare, airlines, and now you have a little bit left over. What should you do with it? I think that you should also invest in transportation services like Uber and Lyft. Now, Uber everywhere. This was the lifestyle before, right? Like nothing is going to change. We're always still going to need those carpooling services. Transportation are big, especially in bigger cities. I live in New York and I get everywhere with Uber. So those things are still going to be used. And Uber, remember, is not just used here in the US, it's used worldwide. So right now, one stock of Uber is worth $34. So definitely, if you have some money left over, go ahead and buy you a couple of shares, because again, I'm just thinking for right now, as soon as things reopen back up, we're all going to be using those services, unless those CEOs do something wild, which you never know with these bigger companies, right? But still, definitely go ahead and get you some Uber stocks, because honey, those are going to be going up. They are. That's just it, you know. That's just something that we know. So definitely, those are my number 6 and number 7. Number 8 is going to be Microsoft. Now, I don't even own Microsoft myself. Microsoft is pretty thick, okay? One share of Microsoft runs for $171. $181. So it is pretty hefty, and you would want to at least own one share of Microsoft in your portfolio. Why? Microsoft is a fast-growing company, especially now that there's going to be a big switch where everything is going to be done remotely. Hey, they give you a steady dividend, so you actually can make money off of their profits. Their profit margin is heavy, so they make a lot of profit because they're one of those companies that are just super reliable. They're constantly growing, they're trusted, and they're just one of the biggest tech companies. So they're increasing every single year. They're making a lot of money, and even in the middle of a freaking crisis, yes, the stock market crashed, but they actually were able to bounce right back up, and they're still worth $181. So definitely, if you have some money, I suggest looking into Microsoft. I'm going to be looking into purchasing a few, but it's definitely one of those companies that are good for a long-term investment. That brings us onto the very next stock, which is going to be Facebook. Guys, Facebook is Facebook. Everyone is still on Facebook, no matter how many times y'all want to deny that y'all don't use Facebook anymore. We still use Facebook. Facebook owns Instagram, which we use every single day. Facebook owns WhatsApp, which is used every single day by millions of people worldwide. So Facebook is still Facebook, and no matter how many things y'all see on the news, like, listen, even if they go down, they're going to be constantly going back up because they're able to. They have the cash flow for it. They're making money. They don't even give you a dividends because they just don't believe that they need to give you a piece of the profit. They don't need to, because they're constantly going to be making money. They have a super strong business model, and even in the middle of this whole crisis, they're still able to be in the lead, making so much money, and they're expected to grow even more. And they're coming up with so many things right now that are going to be implemented, not right now, but later they will. So if you believe in Facebook, if you believe in companies that are here to make fast growth, if you believe in what's his face, Zuckerberg, then definitely go ahead and invest in that company. I just have this feeling that they're just going to be dominating so many things. Every single day I see in the news that they're coming up with something new. I see all of the things that they have planned, so I just believe in them, and I don't own them yet, but they definitely are on my watch list, and I feel like you guys should be watching them too. So even if you don't invest right now, definitely keep looking at Facebook, because remember I said this, they're going to be doing something next, okay? Number 10 is finally Spotify, okay? This one is also hefty. I'm really sorry. I feel like I really wanted this video to be a bunch of cheaper stocks, but it just so happened that the ones that I really love and believe in are, it's a little bit of both actually. It's not that bad, but Spotify right now runs for $190, and Spotify is just a platform that I believe in so much. I've been using Spotify for years, okay, since I was in high school, and I just did not know about stocks. I did not know how to invest in them. I recently went on a rant on Instagram just because it's just like, I just did not know. And if I bought them when they were really cheap, you know, I could have made some money, but I didn't know. And I just believe in Spotify just because they're a platform that has always been used for the creators. They're constantly here for artists to help them stream their music. And right now, one of the things that they've started to do is that they want to become a podcasting platform. So they want to establish themselves as a main podcasting platform. One of the things that they've done, I think this was 2 years ago now, they brought on the Joe Budden podcast, which is a podcast with millions of followers, and I am one of them. And this podcast was allowed to be put on Spotify, and it is exclusively only available on Spotify. So that means that you have to come on Spotify to listen to it. And they've recently done that with the Joe Rogan podcast too, which is one of the biggest podcasts guys, that dude is huge. I don't listen to him much, but I just know he's just so big and he has millions of followers. And starting next year, January of next year, he is going to be exclusively found on Spotify, which is going to bring so many more millions of users too. So that company is going to constantly grow, okay? And I just believe in Spotify, and mark my words, don't, but it is worth $100 and something right now. And in a few years, I'm telling you, that company is just going to do something really amazing, because they really just are here to get better and just to make things better. And I know I said 10, but I'm gonna give y'all one last one. So number 11 is a little tip, it's a little bonus. It is Synchrony Finance. Listen, let me tell you. You know how when you go to like Forever 21 or Target or whatever store gives you a store card, right? Like a credit card. All of those credit cards are through Synchrony Finance. Y'all know how like when you're making your monthly, listen, I have Forever 21 in all of them. So every single month when I pay, it's always been the Synchrony Bank or whatever. So Synchrony Finance is basically the big corporation that is just in charge of just loaning out money to all of these companies. So they're mostly just based in retail. So they have so many companies and they're giving them out money, and they're basically leasing out contracts, and companies use their credit cards through them. So go ahead and just invest in Synchrony Finance by themselves, because that is something that is never going to change. Even if we no longer go to stores, even if we're remotely just shopping online now, that's not going to change. We're still going to be using these credit cards, and credit cards are credit cards. Right now, one stock of Synchrony Finance is worth $19. So you should definitely go and buy yourself a few shares. They were a little bit lower when this market crashed, but they have bounced back up, because clearly that's what they're going to do. Everybody's going to be using credit cards no matter what, and they're only worth $19. So I went ahead and bought myself a couple stocks, and I even want to go and buy some more. All right, y'all, that's all the time I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you made it this far and you are not subscribed to my channel, definitely thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know what else you guys want to see. I wanted to tell you guys about these stocks, but they were a little bit everywhere. If you guys want specifically cheaper stocks, or stocks that you believe that will be more long term, or if you guys want to see other content, let me know in the comment section. All right, y'all, my job here is done. I hope you learned something from here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.